their first dress rehearsal.
Yeah.
And they invite the Broadway audience, which can be a bit of a tough crowd. And that performance, I fell in love with the producers right then and there and said, I must do this show. I must.
Just talking musicals with you.
And I know I'm such a, I love all the heroes from the past, but this, of course, is something that a bit of the jigsaw I was putting together when I was thinking about talking about your career. Because when we first met up, I was thinking, this is amazing. Cory would have met George Abbott, because he was the man behind this revival of Damn Yankees, wasn't he?
Yes.
And
well, he was 107 the last time I met him, but
Yeah.
he was 106 when I first met him, when he came to rehearsals and checked us out. I mean, he would, you know, he would quietly say to Jack O'Brien, you may want to do this, but, you know, all in all, he was grateful that, you know, Damn Yankees was, you know, up and running on Broadway again.
Because for people that don't know about George Abbott, I've got
You're going to know
a
more than me, aren't you?
No, I've got a fantastic quote here where I have to put my glasses on.
Okay.
I've got this quote here. It says, the New York Times reported that George Abbott was involved in one capacity or another in more than 120 productions on and off Broadway and on the road.
Yeah.
In some years, he had 3 hits running at once. And in 1954, Gilbert Milstein of the New York Times wrote to him that on the basis of sheer frightening volume alone, an easily defensible argument can be drummed up that no living individual, or possibly even dead, has contributed more to the Broadway theatre in the capacities of actor, director, producer, co-producer, author, co-author and play doctor than George Abbott. And don't forget, I've always thought this, he still had another 40 years ahead of him after Gilbert Milstein had been writing that. He was extraordinary, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was his, you know, it was his thing. I mean, Broadway, he is the daddy of Broadway.
He
showed everybody how to do it.
He was born in 1887. I checked his birth date yesterday.
Good God.
And it was that 100, you know, well, okay, let me call it 90 years, 80 years. That was extraordinary. That was his career. It spanned the 20th century.
Yeah.
It was, and you got to meet him.
Yeah, and saw him quite a few times. He came to see when I did do Hello Dolly on the road, and we played Fort Lauderdale. He came to see it with his wife, and I had a nice photo op with him and Carol Channing. Carol Channing was a baby next to him. You know, Carol was 74 at the time, and so yeah, I mean that's.
But isn't that extraordinary that I mean, he was there and he was working and he was as sharp as a pin, wasn't he? Because he loved it.
Yeah.
And there's that quote I love that the opening night of Damn Yankees, and he was walking to his seat for the show, whether it's just apocryphal or not, I don't know, but and everybody stood up and there was a standing ovation as he went to his seat, and he allegedly looked about and went, there must be someone important in, and sat down. And it was when I realised, I thought, wow, that show, you would have been in that show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember him walking down the aisle.
Oh, hello.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. It was. I think we held the curtain for quite a lengthy time. That was opening night.
Yeah.
In '93.
And did that at your very youthful point in your life at that point? Did you realise what a big deal George Abbott was? I don't think we always do when we're young.
No, I certainly didn't know that he had, you know, done, you know, over 125 Broadway productions. But I knew he was legend. You know, because for me, I was all about the dance class.
Yeah.
You know, and that I knew about that, but my knowledge of Broadway wasn't that big. Just the shows that I had done, really, that I grew up with. So. I got really lucky by meeting and learning from, you know, I learned from Tyne Daly. She was, as I put it, one of my tutors, one of my professors.
Yeah.
George Abbott, Jerome Robbins, Arthur Lawrence, watching him direct. It was really, those were my professors.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
It is incredible.
You know, 4 years of college. $150,000 later in America, you couldn't get that experience than from the real life people doing it.
Yeah.
So blessed, so blessed.
So we got Damn Yankees, then you did Hello Dolly with Carol Channing on Broadway. Was that, where was that?
We toured, yeah, so Damn Yankees I did about close to a year.
Yeah.
I think, maybe not that long. And then Leroy Reams, who directed Hello Dolly in Paris, said, Cory, we're going to do Hello Dolly tour and then do Broadway. I said, count me in.
Oh, yes.
So we toured for 14 months and then did Broadway for about 5 months. Yeah, at the Lunt-Fontanne.
With Carol Channing.
With Carol Channing, yeah.
Incredible. I just love these. You know I love these connections. They're like pearls, absolute gems of musical theatre. It's just wonderful. I'm going to go forwards a little bit further because then I think we're coming up to your crossover. We've got one more show in my head. It's a funny thing happened on the way to the Forum was next on Broadway, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
So Sondheim, and this is Sondheim's, isn't it his most successful show, Forum? I think.
I would know. Success in what sort of capacity?
Financially, I think.
Oh, okay, fine. Yeah, probably.
I think so. I might.
Yeah. Also, well, West Side Story, he did the lyrics for.
But I think I may be wrong, but I think I read that Forum was.
Forum.
I think so. I mean, that's not counting West Side Story the film, but.
Right.
And you had a good part in this, didn't you?
I did. Well, I was a Protean.
Yeah.
Any part would have been great, just to be in that room again with Jerry Zaks
and
Nathan Lane.
Yes.
And Rob Marshall choreographed it. I remember getting Forum. I was tumbling into a bar, and Rob Marshall was tumbling out of a bar, and he goes, "Cory, you're back in town," because I was with Hello Dolly on the road, and I came back to do Dolly, and he went, "Cory, you're back in town. Do you want to do Forum?" I went, yeah, sure. So he asked me, I still had to audition, of course, but I did good at the audition, and so that's how I got the Protean.
This is one of the things that I've noticed looking at the sort of the progression of your career, the way it's gone. I know you always laugh when I say this, but it's lovely looking at the combination of the people that you've worked with and the way that it all fits in like a wonderful jigsaw. It's like this puzzle, but there are people that cross into your life. So somebody directed this and then you met them for that. Or they directed or they choreographed and they were working with the director or the producer. But there is this, they keep repeating, don't they?
Yeah.
Like you've got Jerry Zaks and Rob Marshall, and then to come there's Susan Stroman. And it's this wonderful way that, it's also this important thing about when you're working and you're professional, it's the way that you work with people and the way you treat other people.
I mean, that's when I teach.
Yeah.
You know, when I teach at drama schools, that's one of the things I say.
Yeah.
Like, you know, be a good person. Don't be sincere about being a good person. Don't be a good person just because it's going to get you work, but just sincerely be a good person.
Yeah.
And be easy to work with. Don't make it difficult to work with, you know. So I think a lot of it, you know, I might not have the best facility singing as well, you know, but I think I'm fun to be with in the room. I was then. Maybe I'm not now. I don't know. But back then, I mean, again, my enthusiasm was just here.
Yeah.
And my energy levels, like, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? Let's do it. Let's do it. I was Scrappy-Doo.
Well, and this combination is where, for me, when looking at what you've done, is where we get to the West End and Broadway, because you studied at Drama Studio London. You came over here to study, didn't you?
Right after Forum. Yeah.
And then, but there's a show that seems to have appeared on your CV, Young Frankenstein, and you've done Young Frankenstein in the West End, on Broadway, and a US tour, if I'm right.
Correct, yeah.
With some incredible people. So you have time to go and study for a year doing acting in London at Drama Studio.
Yeah.
And then somewhere amongst all this, you're appearing in Young Frankenstein as Igor.
Igor.
Yes.
Igor. So, yeah, I studied at drama studio, fell in love, got married. I had no intention of moving to London. So once September 11th happened, September 13th I bought the diamond, October I proposed, January we got married in Burnt Oak Registry Office, and I moved here. I was ready to dance in the ensemble again, anything just for work. Luckily, I had a good Mary Sunshine audition and Amos, and so that's how I got Chicago.
Chicago, yeah.
First. And then I auditioned for the producers, which then I got that. If you want to talk about Young Frankenstein, it was producers that led to...
Oh, was it?
It was yeah.
So
and
that's the way around.
Yeah, because producers in 2004 here.
Okay.
But I did see it, I saw producers in New York at the Gypsy Run-Through. And I don't know if you can say Gypsy anymore, I'm not sure.
Well, that's what it's called, isn't it?
It is.
And explain it. Gypsy Run-Through is for people in the business, isn't
yeah,
it?
it's just, it's their first dress rehearsal.
Yeah.
And they invite the Broadway audience, which can be a bit of a tough crowd. And that performance, I fell in love with the producers right then and there and said, I must do this show, I must. The intermission was about 40 minutes long that day. It wasn't probably the best show, but it was so exciting being in that audience. And that was, I want to say, in 2001. And then producers came here in 2004. And I understudied Nathan Lane, Richard Dreyfuss, that's another story, then Nathan. And then I got to go on when Nathan went home. And
now, and so you, Nathan was playing Max Bialystock, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And one of the things that when people talk about that role is how physical it is. I mean, you can see. I mean, just watching it, it's you've got to be strong.
It took its toll on Nathan.
Yeah.
Really, he was. When I went on for him, he had a torn meniscus and a herniated disc. He needed to, take care of himself, and so it is physically demanding. I was 34 at the time, 32. And, it was tiring for me then.
And that's, the choreography was by Susan Stroman, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's fabulous, isn't
she?
She
is fantastic.
Yeah.
And, wonderful soul, and, the whole works.
And she's a big fan of the big numbers, isn't she?
Yes, yeah. And tall people, which is, I'm lucky I even got an audition, but because Nathan was short, then I could understudy him. And I understudied Lee Evans as well. So I covered both of them. I stood by.
Because he was playing Leo, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Gosh, that's a lot of words to learn.
It was. There's a studio in the Drury Lane in the basement.
Oh yeah, we've got to say that's at the Theatre Royal Drury Lane. What an amazing theatre.
And I'd go down there and I would listen to the tannoy, and I would play, one night I'd play Max.
Wow.
And listen to Lee Evans, giving me the cues, and then the next night I'd switch it over, and I would be Leo, and I'd listen to Nathan, and do it that way. That helped.
Yeah.
There's only one fantastic day where I got to play both. It was an understudy rehearsal because Lee Evans was not going to miss a show, and he didn't. So I had my Leo audition, rehearsal, understudy rehearsal, and I shaved everything off. I was like, this is my only chance to play Leo. I'm going full out. And so that day did the rehearsal, had a great time. That night, company manager called me and said, "You're on for Max tonight." I said, "Oh, stop it." "No, I'm serious. You're on."
Oh, funny.
Huh? So I really loved my mustache for Max, and I didn't have it for Leo. So I did it without a mustache.
Oh, how funny.
But it was, that was a great day. It was a good day.
But wow. But how did you do though? How did you go on and do that with that much energy every night?
Mel Brooks, it's just the way he wrote it, you know. It has his energy in it, and so, you know, you deliver that one line, maybe early in the night, and you hear the laughter. Oh, there's another one, there's another one. You couldn't help but, you know, just be sucked in, and next thing you know, energy's, you know, going.
Yeah.
But also within it, you know, Zero Mostel played it, you know, what do you want? So you could play it down, and you just paced yourself,
Yes.
you know, and find where you can relax, but it's a lot.
It's a fantastic role, though. Just going back to Guys and Dolls just for a second, because I know you love Guys and Dolls like I do.
I do, yeah.
But since you played it for the first time on Broadway, you've been Benny Southstreet, and who's the other person you played?
Well, I played Benny.
Yeah.
I understudied Doug Hodge.
Yeah.
As his Nathan, and Martin Ellis is nicely. And then at Royal Albert Hall, I played Rusty.
That's right.
Charlie. Yeah.
But there's somebody you still want to be, isn't there, in Guys and Dolls?
Adelaide?
Oh no. There's still Nathan Detroit there, though.
Yeah, Nathan. I got to. Yeah, there's still a Nathan Detroit Guys and Dolls production out there. Hopefully that.
Yeah.
I'll be able to do.
It's just one of the best musicals on the planet, as far as I'm concerned. Well, so that's all we've got time for today, but there's more coming up, so don't forget to press subscribe at the end of this so you don't miss the final part of my chat with Cory. See you here very soon for more Broadway and West End tales with the fabulous Cory English here on Just Talking Musicals.
Just talking musicals with you.